Welcome back, fans. This is the Alleged Reality. We're back in the house. It's a new year. Coming live to you from the cave of sound which we created here. It is the Alleged Reality podcast with Jason and John. I am Jason. My good man John is across the way.
How you doing?
We are in action. Glad to be here today. It is Friday, February 8th. This is our first show of the new year that we've done. We did a holiday show and then took some time to get things wrapped up with the holidays and get back in the swing of the new year. It is 2019. That means
all year.
All year, whether we like it or not. It's 2019. 2018 is now over. With the new year turns the new page. It turns a lot of new things on for some people. Some people keep the old things. I was married in 2018. I assume I'll be married in 2019.
Assume, yes.
We can only assume. But I'm hopeful.
Oh, there you go. At least there's hope.
That's right. Like Star Wars, a new hope. But this is kind of an old hope.
Okay.
I hope it's not some of the old hopes that we've known. I don't know. But we're in a new year. We're the Alleged Reality. This is the Alleged Reality podcast. You can find us on our YouTube channel, The Alleged Reality. Search for us there. We will also be uploading our shows onto Facebook, on our Facebook page, The Alleged Reality as well.
Yep.
And you can find us at all your local retailers. Wherever they sell VHS tapes.
Wherever they have internet access, you can have access
That's
to
true.
us.
That's actually true. If you're in Alaska and you have one bar of Wi-Fi, you can actually find us.
That's right.
You can find the Alleged Reality. And we hope you do. We appreciate everybody that listens to us, all few of you. But that's how you build something is from the ground up.
Absolutely.
At some point, we will get off of the ground.
That's right.
Hopefully. In the new year. I got to tell you, John, my feet are feeling fantastic.
How's that?
Have you ever heard of...
If you say Dr. Scholl's, I'm just going to walk out of here right now.
Well, I don't know. This guy's a doctor. He was pretty chatty. But I used fish pedicure this afternoon. It's where you stick your feet in a bowl of what looks like tiny piranha.
Or little minnows, yeah.
And they chew off the dead skin off of your feet.
Yeah. It
was a pretty amazing experience. I'm all for trying new things. And my wife suggested it today.
Okay. So
let's go give this a shot. I'm a big fan of pedicures.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think, if I recall correctly, you mentioned that you guys' first date.
That's right.
For pedicure. Now,
that was kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? What's gonna seem like a really impressive thing for a guy to do?
Sure.
Let's go on a pedicure. She had no idea I'm all about pedicures.
Yeah, it's outside the box.
That's right. Shows my soft side.
Sure.
Which I'm constantly trying to find. It's in there. But this was a really neat experience. It feels more like, the way they described it when we sat down was, it's going to feel like bubbles on your feet.
Sure.
And that's pretty much what it feels like until you look down and you see
them just going at it.
These fish just chomping away at your feet. It's kind of a neat experience. It was kind of funny because it's in the mall, and it's actually in the mall. So, and it's a glass front place, so everybody can see what you're doing. And every single person who walked by, you could hear him go, "Oh, that's gross." And that's kind of the general consensus of the fish pedicure thing, which it was an Asian thing, which most things are.
Yeah. I remember hearing and seeing stuff about this. They just eat dead flesh.
Yeah.
And it's just what they naturally do, and people found a way to apply it to something marketable, which is fine. It's not for everyone.
This couple seemed to own the place. They seemed very excited to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
They were very informative, which was good. They kind of kept conversation with us as we were the only people in there having it done. Apparently a party of 8 was coming, but
sure.
How people embellish, like we're really successful.
Don't worry, people are showing up.
I don't know. But it was a really neat experience, and my feet are silky smooth.
Oh, I'm sure. Also, the only things that would really be kind of I don't know, not necessarily deal breaker for me, but I don't think I'd want a bunch of people walking by while I'm doing it. And
well, when you get to a point in your life where you have no shame,
sure,
and you understand that you will never be elected to public office.
Yeah, there's public office and then there's appearing in public. There's two completely different things. And then I guess the other part is, not. I'm all for conversation sometimes. I guess I don't necessarily want to be the owner's sole point of contact for any type of communication.
To his credit, he was telling us that he's bringing in a stand-up comedian to basically break everybody's balls while they're getting their feet eaten by fish.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was great because I was cracking jokes the entire time.
That's gonna go one or two ways, I guess.
I know it. Especially, we're like, well, who'd you get? He's a local up-and-comer, which means he's probably never done stand-up. But I thought it was a neat idea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of material.
Sure.
So I thought it was pretty neat.
And that's just in the bowls. I
know it. Now, are you a pedicure guy? Have you ever?
I've never gotten one. I'm not opposed specifically to getting one. For me, it's never been something like, you know what I should go do.
And I'm not a feet guy. I can't stand feet. I think people are like, oh, they have beautiful feet. No, they don't.
I think I can personally, I feel like I can make a distinction between feet that are attractive and unattractive.
Yeah.
But they don't get me going in any way,
right.
shape, or form.
But you've never either been tugged at the tail feathers by a female to go get one done.
Oh.
Or
you're still talking. Look, man, I said feet are okay. No, I've gotten my manicures before, and had my eyebrows waxed.
Okay, so you ventured into the grooming.
Yeah, especially
side of it.
When it's, I guess, like a special occasion, or you're going to be at somebody's wedding. These are kind of things that you just It's almost understood that, look, this is what you're going to do. And you can argue or you can just do it. So it doesn't bother me, that kind of stuff. But yeah, at the same time, I've never been like, let me get my feet done too. So.
The more I think about it, though, I think about it in a maintenance way.
Absolutely. I understand how that all falls together. I do.
I think of everything in terms of maintenance these days. And I think it's just how I feel about things. When I think about going to the gym, I don't go into a gym having any dreams or aspirations of having my 21-year-old body back. It's not going to happen. And nor do I need it. I don't need that for anything.
It might kill you.
That'd be like having a Ferrari without the keys. It's not going to do me any good. It'll be nice to look at. Sure. I guess. But I don't need all that.
Anything. Yeah. Or just, owning a sports car when you live on a farm.
Yeah. Yeah. You got dirt roads.
Yeah. It's great for the suspension.
Which I think I did see an episode of lottery winners, or one of those lottery shows, and it was somebody that won like an absurd amount of money, like $100 million. And what they did with it is they had a big piece of land that they already lived on in a trailer. And instead of maybe taking the trailer down, they added on 2 more trailers and just connected them. And it was this big, just giant dirt mess. And it showed her driving down this dirt road and bottoming out every 5 seconds in a Lamborghini.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Performance vehicle.
That was perfect.
Designed.
I just wanted it. Yeah, that made good sense.
Look at my country Autobahn.
Yeah. And instead of getting a new house, they just added more. They connected them like Legos.
Well, they can see a stick with what you know. They kept it real.
Yeah. But I look at all that kind of stuff like there's just maintenance issues. And I think when you get to be a certain age, it's how you view those types of things. You're not going to be an athlete again.
Right.
Maybe you could play and pick up stuff at the wire rec or whatever. But, we do have a friend that likes to still, play sports at 40. And, that's great and all. But hell, I'd look at that kind of stuff. I'm like, I could do that stuff, but I could also tear my ACL, and there is no recovering from that at 40 years old.
Your time of recovery is someday between now and death. So
that's right. And sometimes a long night out feels the same.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like, a lot of things really do fall under just maintenance.
Yes.
And then when you start to look at that, there's a part of me that's like, it's just too much work. I get done with work, then I got to do more work just to be alive
to do more work.
And our friend that is still fairly athletic, he's also incredibly competitive, though. So I think that
he's also hobbling around all the time too with injuries.
Yeah.
And injuries scare the hell out of me at this point because the older you get, the more responsibilities you get.
Sure.
Like, you cannot afford to miss work for 8 months.
No.
There's no way. There's too many.
Well, you have your off season, so maybe you can get away with 3. But no, you can't be laid up in a hospital.
Hey, honey.
Traction.
We talked about you taking call. Just stay at the hospital.
Just prop me up and move my lips. It just takes so much longer to physically recover from
everything
that you may have been able to bounce back faster.
From everything, it takes forever to recover from, and it's crazy, but that's how it works. These people are like, "Oh, I'm in the best shape of my life at 50."
No.
What were you doing at 20?
You're in the best potential shape you have now.
Yeah.
If this is your best in your life, you clearly fucked off for
There's actually
40 years.
a name in geometry for that kind of shape. It's called delusion. It's kind of round, if you think round is funny.
I was all prepared to hear about this shape.
Yeah. It is the new year. And with the new year always comes New Year's resolutions. And we all have done them at some point or another. And with New Year's resolutions, as they tend to be pretty common for everybody, the Time magazine, what I pulled up is a list of the top 10 most common New Year's resolutions that people choose and then give up on.
Sure.
And as you can guess, the majority of them are associated with your health.
That makes sense, because a lot of people think, oh, you know what? New year, new me. I'm going to look great. I'm not going to change anything about what I do, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I've talked to people that own or operate a workout facility, a gym, and they say it's incredible, the influx of memberships.
Oh, the first month.
And new memberships in January every single year. And then you go in the gym in February and they're nowhere to be found.
That's why you make them pay for a year in advance.
Yeah, it's amazing, these gyms that have like 10,000 members and the place only holds 300 people.
Sure.
It's like, why wouldn't they be completely overflowing? It's because 97% don't go.
Yeah.
It's a great business. So the top 10 list that I pulled up, and this is Time magazine. Magazines, those things that people used to read.
This is clearly the digital version of the magazine.
Yeah, it's all digital. The number one, and I don't know if these are actually in any order.
Sure.
But the top one is lose weight and get fit.
Yeah.
And that's got to be the number one.
You can do one or the other. They don't have to be. But
that's true.
You can get fit without losing weight, and you can lose weight without getting fit.
It's less likely that you're going to get fit without losing weight.
Yeah.
Than it is, you can definitely lose weight without getting fit, because you can just do dietary
AIDS
thing. Works every time.
The thing about getting fit, sometimes you end up bulking up by doing that. You can actually gain weight by getting fit if you put on enough muscle.
That is true, and I have that issue. So number 2 is quit smoking.
Okay.
Which I think these days we're going to start to see fewer and fewer people smoke. I think there's going to be a lot of people that casually smoked. That especially since there was a law that passed that went into effect on January 1st here in Augusta, Georgia, where we're located at, to ban smoking in all bars. Yeah. And I don't think the bars are going to be hurt by it. I think there's a temporary change is all it's going to be. There's going to be a change of people that go out. I don't think smokers are obviously still going to go out and they're still going to smoke, but the frequency in which you do is going to change drastically.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
There are definitely new people going out to places they maybe hadn't gone to before.
Oh yeah.
But that influx of new people, I don't think has quite offset the frequency of regulars yet.
No, and I don't think it will for a while. But the reality of it is that smokers have nowhere else to go and do that. It's not like there's an option. So eventually they're going to come back to what they enjoy doing, which is actually just going out, and you'll find a way around it. So I think, I think people are going to quit smoking. Maybe not as a New Year's resolution, but certainly here in Augusta is just a result of this. And that's still a small portion of people.
Well, I think when you try to make something like getting healthy or stopping smoking or whatever it is, if you make it a resolution, you're almost putting an odd pressure on it.
There's a severe pressure when you make a goal of any sort. It doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution. Right. But, everyone says that have success with goals. They say the most important thing when you start is to write it down. Yeah. Because that immediately makes you accountable to it, right?
You need to write it down. You have to have a deadline in mind.
That's right.
Along with steps. If you just say, I'm going to do this starting today, then your likelihood of failure is a little bit more.
Right.
That's why I think if you just decide at some point during the year, you know what, I want to quit smoking by this time, you're probably going to be more successful than you would say, New Year's Eve, that's my last cigarette. Starting
now, some people can quit things cold turkey.
Sure.
And I actually believe that if people were just convince themselves that they can do it, then you can do it. Your mind allows and disallows your body to do all sorts of things. It's kind of like with the runner's wall. You've heard of that?
Yeah.
Where you get to a certain point and your body feels like it can't do anymore, but that's really your mind telling you that. Right. And if you block that out, your body will continue to go, and you can actually go further
for a while.
Right. So I think mentally that's a product of what your brain tells you can and can't do.
Sure.
More people probably have the ability to quit things, just cold turkey.
Yeah.
Then they're willing to give themselves credit for it.
I think the only time you're going to run into problems with that are when what you're trying to do or accomplish or quit ends up being something that does in some way affect you physically or chemically.
Yeah.
Which cigarettes is one of them.
Yeah. Like you can't quit doing heroin cold turkey.
Well, you can. You just got to do a lot of it once. So I think that represents a barrier, but it is one that you can overcome. It's just a lot more difficult. I agree with you that a lot of things are just what you make of them, what you can determine in your mind, what you're capable of doing. A lot of times, like that runner's wall. I mean, in the one sense, that's your mind's or your brain's way of really trying to protect you at the same time.
Oh, it is.
Like, hey, might want to ratchet it down a bit.
You're destroying your body when you exercise to that level.
Yeah.
But your body has the capability to do a lot more than your mind is telling you it is.
So if you can, again, that runner's wall, that's one of those things where you're essentially saying, no, body, I know what's good for me. Fuck you. And, you can recover from that. But
and when we're talking about, you bring up a good thing with goals. You got to put a deadline to it.
Yeah.
And another important piece to that puzzle is you have to set realistic goals. Sure. And in your timeline, say you wanted to lose 100 pounds next year, right?
Okay.
Well, that's probably an unrealistic goal. It's probably best to say, I want to lose 5 pounds a month.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of times when you start to lose more or gain more than that, unless you are let's just go with a professional athlete, and even then they try not to bulk up or slim down that quickly.
Yeah.
Boxers have to do it sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah,
but incremental goals that are attainable.
Yeah, 2 to 5 pounds a month. That's
because the one thing that gets us all off track when we're trying to achieve something is not seeing enough success.
Sure.
Or not seeing enough results to make you continue to want to do it. Or, if your goal is to lose 100 pounds,
right,
and the first 2 weeks you've only lost 2.
Or what more likely would be to happen is you gain a couple of pounds.
Or that's right, because most people, you're going to be, if you get in physical activity put in your regimen, you're going to add muscle mass, which clearly weighs more than fat.
And because you're doing more physically, you're going to be a lot hungrier.
Oh yeah,
you need more energy. And again, that's why weight loss is so frustrating.
It is for people, but that's why it's better to have shorter term, incremental, achievable goals, right. And then in the long run, you'll eventually get there because once you get past that first couple balls and you hit those first couple goals, you're going to really stay in with it because you're seeing the results.
Right.
And you're saying, if my goal was to lose 10 pounds in the first 2 months and you lose 10 pounds in the first 2 months, that's a win.
Yeah.
And then you say, all right, for the next 2 months, I'm going to do the same thing. And you do it. Now you're in.
Yeah.
Now you're in, because now all you got to do is to continue on the path you're going on, and you're eventually going to get that big goal.
You're getting a tangible result, and you're getting it's the sense of satisfaction of accomplishment, all these things that factor into why some things are a lot easier for some people to do or harder for others to accomplish or quit.
That's right.
I think the whole it's kind of in that same vein, the whole business model behind like freemium gaming is microtransactions. It's, hey, you know what? You could spend $100 on this. No, why would I do that? Well, how about 99 cents on? Well, it's just 99 cents. That's fine, not a big deal. But it adds up. So over time, you've probably spent way more than what you normally would have.
Oh yeah.
But it's that small sense of satisfaction or accomplishment when you unlock a level or you achieve a goal or whatever it is that keeps people psychologically addicted to it. It's essentially you're addicted to winning. Now, if you can apply that to again a weight loss goal, 100 pounds in a year, that's actually kind of dangerous for some people. But if you were to just say, you know what, I want to eventually lose 100 pounds in the next couple of years.
If you're 150 pounds, you probably don't want to lose 100 pounds.
No, at least not at once. But if you set a goal of just 3 to 5 pounds
reasonable
a month,
goals.
Or sometimes they're just like I want to lose a couple inches off my waist. Sometimes you can accomplish weight loss without actually slimming down or slim down
it's
without
just
weight
redistributing
loss.
it.
Yeah, so
mine all goes to my head.
My cock. Now, again, manageable.
It wasn't my feet
goals.
Until the fish ate it off.
That's so gross.
It was like Thanksgiving dinner for those boys.
Those fish, they just went belly up. What the fuck's in your feet?
And one thing one of the guys said, he was like, people have been saying, that A, we don't clean our tanks. Well, I clean my tanks every single day. And B, that we starve the fish. And I looked down at my feet and I'm like, those fish ain't starving now.
Not today.
It was a straight up buffet for him.
I'm sure. Again, reasonable, attainable goals that will help you make progress.
And financially, it's absolutely the case. Everybody wants to be rich, or you want to go from your current standing now to having $500,000 a year.
Sure.
Unless you win the lottery, which we all know the odds of that, or
astronomical.
Finding a bunch of money or being, inheriting a bunch of money or something like that. It's going to be incremental things that you have to do to eventually get there. And if, you could have the best business model on the face of the planet, it will take time for you to get to that point.
Sure.
There really are no overnight successes.
I think you have better odds of being killed by a lottery winner than you do
of winning the lottery.
I need to look that up, but that would be awesome.
You know what? I guarantee you that's probably a relevant odd. There's probably a lot that you could have happen to you because of a lottery winner.
Oh, yeah.
That have better odds than winning it. But incremental stuff is much better for these New Year's resolutions.
Right.
Quit smoking was the second one. Learn something new was one.
That's so.
I don't know that I've ever
broad though.
Isn't it? I mean, couldn't you take care of that day one?
Yeah.
All right, we're good.
What have you learned? I'm a failure. All right, you're done.
January 2. We've already had a great year. I learned that if I spray after I take a shit, I won't get yelled at.
I don't have to blame it on the dog anymore.
Yeah. That is a broad one. I don't know.
I guess, I know a lot of people are like, I want to learn a new language or something like that. And they just give up because
it's hard.
It is. Without immersion, learning a language really is tough. Because it's just you reading and you hope it sounds right because you're not being able to, or it's you listening. And there's so many things that unless you are in an immersive experience where you're actually interacting with a native speaker.
Absolutely.
Learning a new language on your own.
I think any foreign language class I ever took, that's what they explained to us is that it's going to take you forever to learn the language this way.
Yeah.
If you move to, I took Spanish, so
Sure.
if you move to a Spanish-speaking country
You'll
and
learn a
you
lot
were
faster.
forced,
yeah.
If you want to communicate, you're forced to learn it.
Yeah,
you're going to do it a lot quicker.
You'll either pick up enough or you die. Having this guy starved to death.
Or you never get the things you're asking for.
Right. And that's why I think it's always kind of disingenuous when a lot of people are like, oh, I know 5 languages. Like, you know them? Okay, maybe you know them, but can you actually speak? How well can you use them?
If you were to go to that place where they speak that language, would they mock you immediately?
Yeah, would they say you speak like a child, which is fine, especially if you are not a native speaker and you've never been immersed in it. If anything, a lot of native speakers would say, I understand what you're saying, but you're coming across like a child or a foreigner because this isn't natural. And that's fine. But to say that, no, I speak 5 languages. Like
fluently.
Yeah.
I like that too.
There's
I'm fluent in 5 languages.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
I speak it with a bit of mountainous dialect from Tangiers. Let's see. The next one was eat healthier in diet. And that goes right in with lose weight and get fit.
Well, I think the eat healthier thing is a lot. On paper, it's very easy to accomplish.
Very.
You just, say, I'm not going to go to these places or I'm only buying these foods. The problem is, which I've never understood why it's always more expensive to eat healthier things than it is crap. I get that it's essentially
that's a function of the
convenience.
Really, you could probably tie it in. I mean, going conspiracy theory on this one. You could tie it into the sugar companies that drive all processed foods. Yeah. I mean, it all goes. It goes back to sugar.
It's a lot about convenience too. Like when I say more expensive,
but you're right. No, you're right. It's much more expensive to quote unquote eat healthy.
Yeah, if you go to and this is the worst example, but if you go to a drive-through, every healthy option is going to be way more expensive than the much unhealthier option. Why? Because it's more expensive for that company to provide it, and so they got to pass the savings on to you. So,
listen, folks, a hamburger that consists of 2 patties, quote unquote real cheese, vegetables, and 2 buns made of what we think is bread. If you can get that for 99 cents, none of that shit is real. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Depends on your reality.
None of it is real.
Can you touch it? That's real enough. But
now, come on in and choose your size, honey.
That's the worst part. Your money better be real.
Your money better be real.
But this burger?
I guarantee somebody's tried to roll through a drive-thru with a Monopoly 20.
Of course.
I guarantee somebody who's stoned out of their gills or just drunk and trying to be silly.
Why not?
Or just trying to pull a fast one. Which brings me to today. I avoided a scam. Now.
Oh, you did not send money to a...
Almost.
Oh, okay.
So.
This money's locked up.
So, let me digress and go back to 2009.
Okay.
And I'm...
a simpler time.
I'm admitting myself as a complete moron. So, where I was bartending at, there was a guy that would come up there and he was into motorcycles. And for whatever reason, I thought I needed a motorcycle. And I've never been a motorcycle guy. I've only ridden one, I think, twice in my life.
Okay.
So he found, and this is in 2009, so to our defense, I suppose, eBay was still a new thing. Really purchasing things like that online was still somewhat of a new concept. It had only been around for a couple of years.
Very risky.
I think eBay maybe started in 2006, I want to say.
No, it was well before that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was around the turn of the century.
No kidding.
Yeah, because I remember getting stuff on eBay and like...
Actually, you know what? You're right, because it was 2002 and we were buying stuff on eBay. Yeah. Okay. Either way, I hadn't used it that much.
Sure.
And protections against scammers was still a growing thing, and I don't think these companies understood the need to protect against this as much.
Probably not on that level yet.
All of that is probably just covering up how much of a dumbass I was. So he found this motorcycle, and it was this Harley. It was decked out, a fat boy, just exactly what I pictured in my head is what I wanted out of a motorcycle.
Okay.
And he found this, and he was like, "Listen, man, this is an incredible bike. It's in perfect condition. They're only wanting $1,300 for it." And I didn't know anything about the prices of motorcycles.
Sure.
Which was, there again, naivety on my part that I shouldn't have had. But I'm sitting there thinking, well, he's wanting to split it. So I was thinking to myself, $650? Yeah, absolutely. And we can split it and just use it whenever we want to use it. And, we'll keep it at my house, of course. But,
right.
So we're so excited about this. Now, granted, he's in this with me, so he's just as much of a dumbass as I am.
Okay.
So where the red flag should have gone up to me is when we asked this person, we responded to him with questions, and when he said that we asked if we could use PayPal. Okay. And PayPal was a new thing at that point.
Yeah.
So he said, no, what I need you to do is go to Western Union and wire me the money. Now, that right there should have been the red flag of all red flags.
A little bit, yeah.
However, I had never Western Union any money. I had never received anything from Western Union. I didn't have any familiarity with what it was and the lack of accountability that there is when you wire money.
Yeah.
So we said, all right, and got the $1,300 in cash together and went down to Western Union and wired it to whatever address we wired it to. So when we go back on the site to try and pull it up and just to look at the pictures again, because we're excited we're going to get it. We want to show everybody what we're getting.
Right.
Oh, and we did. We told everybody.
Oh, sure.
It was completely gone. You couldn't locate it. It had been removed.
Right.
So it took a few days, and
because this guy's smart.
It took a few days. I think he said he was in Minnesota, right?
Okay.
So it took a few days, and we went down to Western Union and started asking questions. Well, sure. Western Union doesn't keep any track of who picks up the money. All they could tell us is where the money wound up.
Eventually, yeah.
It eventually wound up in London.
Blimey.
So, and we were like, you don't have any, you don't have video in all your, Western Union places. You can't pull up a picture. And they're like, yeah, we don't do that.
The thing about what you're saying is that there are a lot more protections in place now where what you're describing is a lot harder to do, but can still be done. but they also do have a lot of better ways to prevent it from happening to begin with.
Absolutely.
However, this being 10 years ago, yeah, you're fine.
Now, look, I mean, I'm a very impulsive person. I have to fight impulsive urges all the time. I absolutely have let my excitement lead me into situations that have not worked out in my best interest. This was one of them.
Okay.
But the only way you learn is from doing and failing. I truly believe that. So I did. So fast forward to today.
Okay.
I've been looking every single day at trucks. I need a truck. I've been without a truck for a couple of years, and I've got a lot of things that I want to do and accomplish, and it requires the use of a truck.
Yeah, you're more of a truck guy than you are what you currently drive.
Yeah, well, that's a means to the
end. That's a means to an end, and it's actually a perk.
It is. So, that's right.
But still, for you just that car that's just not you.
Yeah. And folks, we don't have video as of yet, but I'm 6'3", 325 pounds. A sedan doesn't look right. Feel right.
It's not even a full size sedan.
Yeah. But that's what I got. So I'm getting a truck though.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it, and I'm really trying to find the best deal. Because there's a lot of really good trucks out there. You know, if you dig and look through, there's tons and tons of good trucks. I'm not paying $30,000. I'm not paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for a truck. You can get a great truck.
A Denali? Come on.
No. I don't even know if I had $100,000 to burn, I don't know that I could spend 70 of it on a new truck. And that's what those new trucks cost. They're $70,000.
Yeah.
So you can find a really good truck for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. It might have 200,000 miles on it, but I'm not driving the thing across country. I'm going to use it on weekends and around town to actually get things done and accomplished. So I've been looking for a truck every single day, and the perfect scenario in my mind is I want to find a woman whose husband has died and he kept a truck, and maybe it's 15 years old. No, I mean, this is a real scenario.
Yeah, I know. Okay? I like that your perfect scenario involves somebody else.
I know. Miserable. It's not, listen, it's not their perfect scenario.
Right.
It's my perfect scenario. So if I can find a widow who is now burdened with this truck, and this is a truck that this guy probably kept in a garage.
Shit, I already know somebody.
He put
wow.
He put maybe 1,000 miles on it a year and wiped it down with rags on a daily basis or whatever. He never drove it through the woods like some redneck does. You can actually look on those pictures and you can tell who's been driving the hell out of that thing versus somebody that keeps it in a garage.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. And that's the ultimate thing, because generally in that scenario, they're not going to sell it for what they could actually get for it.
Probably not. They're looking at maybe a little less than Blue Book value.
If they're even
looking for that much.
Even if they even tap into the Blue Book.
Yeah.
So, today,
So you've been cruising the obituaries lately.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I look at trucks like people look at porn. And I know all about them. So I find this one jumps out at me, and I'm on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
And this one jumps out. It was a 2003 Ford F-150 King Ranch edition. It had a V8 5.4 liter, whatever. And it said free, where the price goes. Now what that actually means generally is that they just don't want to put the price up, and it'll say message the seller.
Or they want you to go to their other site that they actually own a lot, and they want you to finance.
Right. Yeah. So I saw it. It's a really good looking truck. The year kind of gives me an idea of what it should cost. So I message the seller. Well, I get a message back from the guy, and it says, this is my sister. Here's her email. Email her, and she'll send you details of the truck.
Okay.
Before I did that, I messaged him back and said, do you happen to know the price? And he said, the price is $1,500. So now I'm pushing aside all of the red flags, and my excitement is getting the better of me. So I email him, I sent an email, said, I'd like some details on this truck. I'm very interested. So I get this long email back, and I'll actually see if I can pull it up and read it.
Sure.
I don't mind putting my retardation on the waves here. So it begins like this. Okay, so she emails me back. She says, "Hello, Jason. This is Stephanie. Nice to meet you. My 2003 Ford F-150 King Ranch is still for sale. Never had or need any paint or body work done. Garage kept always. Without any mechanical problems. Tires and wheels are in great shape. As well, electric is working perfectly. The engine is 5.4 liters, 79,500 miles on a 2003. Okay, so in my head, I'm thinking this is a woman who I'm speaking with. Maybe it was her husband's, who he never drove it,
who died.
I'm thinking that my perfect scenario is about to come true. So It goes again like this. Runs very good, and the automatic transmission shifts perfectly. Has a clean and clear title in my name, and there are no liens or loans on it. Probably it deserves more, but I'm asking this price because my husband died 2 months ago.
Oh, fuck off.
And the van is bringing me bad memories.
Okay.
That's the reason why I want to sell it for $1,500. If you're interested, I can send you more pics.
Sure.
I'm thinking I've hit the jackpot.
Finally.
I have, you know what? My patience has paid off. Mm-hmm. And the scenario in my head has actually played out in front of me. Mm-hmm. So, I reply to her, "Thank you, Stephanie.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm very sorry to hear of your loss." And I was genuinely heartbroken for her.
Heartbroken.
I said I would like to buy this truck.
Right.
Can I come tomorrow morning to complete the sale? I have cash. Now, the location on Facebook said that she was in Warner Robins, Georgia, which is
it's not too far.
2.5 hours from here, maybe, depending on traffic. Her response was, "Right now, I'm in a military base. Okay. We are training, getting ready for leaving the country. The delivery process will be managed by me. I think I can have it there at your home address within 2 to 3 working days. It will come with clear title. I am a member of the eBay buyer protection program. Okay. And using the service will get you a 5-day testing period. After delivery, during those 5 days, I will not get any money. I need to know if you're interested so I can ask eBay to send you the details on this deal."
Right.
And blah, blah, blah. So I sent her my info. Probably went one step a little too far because there wasn't too much info I sent her.
You didn't send her your social, did you?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Now, if she wants to take my credit, she can go right ahead. So, and I know this is drawing out. This is a long story, but
take my credit, please.
So I get this email, and this is when the red flags go up. When she sent that reply, the red flags went up, and I'm like, wait a second. What happened to, you just need to get rid of this thing, your husband just died.
Yeah.
I'm telling you I can come tomorrow morning with cash.
Yeah.
And now you're needing to set this up for delivery and go through some eBay thing that I've never heard of. So what I did is I didn't respond to that right away. I went on, I Googled the eBay protection, buyer protection thing. And a lot of stuff popped up about how to avoid fraudulent activity, because what these scam artists try to do is they set you up thinking that they're a part of this eBay thing. They clearly even said they're going to tell you that they're being deployed overseas. Yeah. They're going to say they had someone die. Yeah. They're going to say that they can't take cash. And they won't allow you to come and look at it first. Those sorts of things. They said the one thing to look out for is that to be a part of the eBay buyer protection program, your vehicle has to be listed on eBay.
Yeah.
So I checked eBay for it and couldn't find it. And so I emailed this woman back and said, is this listed on eBay? Mm-hmm. And she said, no, it's not. So that was kind of the last.
The end of the conversation.
That was the last red flag that jumped up. Yeah. And oh, here it is.
Because how can eBay protect you against something that they're not selling?
That's correct. Yeah. A lot of stuff started to make sense.
I don't believe you had a husband.
So, I was in the midst of a scam.
Yeah.
And I pulled myself out of it. Unlike 10 years ago.
Oh. Now, you could have had some fun with this.
Oh, could I?
A little bit.
Now, I did report
the
guy's profile. Yeah. And interesting enough, as soon as I replied and said, all I replied with was, I've changed my mind. I'm going another direction.
Sure.
I wanted to say, you motherfuckers. I just reported you to the FBI. You can expect to knock on the door very soon. They know where you are.
You son of a bitch.
But the profile was completely deleted immediately. So
yeah,
maybe I saved somebody else. That's the way I look at it. I'm a hero.
Yeah.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Just thinking that.
So I avoided that.
What'd you do
today?
Save the world.
I saved the world.
Damn it. No, yeah, you could have had some fun with it in a sense of like just trolling back and forth emails.
Oh, well, you know what? I should have implored you to do so as you, sir, are the troll king.
I do enjoy heckling.
You're good at it.
Speaking of heckling, the reason you brought up trolling was because we were talking about a Super Bowl party, and you guys hosted one over at another mutual friend's house.
We did. It was excellent.
Yeah, the pictures were, first of all, the screen itself was inflatable, and probably the biggest screen it was ridiculous.
When you think of, as a kid, we had drive-in movie theaters.
Yeah.
And that's what we can equate it to. Now, I mean, it's not as big as a drive-in movie theater.
Right, but perspective-wise, that's how it felt.
That's how it felt. It was 20 foot tall.
It was 50 feet tall if it was a meter. I tell you, boys, the sea was angry. So, yeah, that and the Super Bowl. It's a shame, though, because you got to see in all this glory an incredibly boring fucking game.
Yes, a masterfully defensive stalwart of a game.
I think you can have a good defensive battle without it being boring.
Yeah,
and that was
a good defensive battle.
Game.
A good defensive battle includes turnovers, interceptions, scores by the defense.
Right, that's a defensive battle.
That's a defensive battle.
Not moving the ball. That is a little bit of defense, but it's some pretty bad offense, too.
Yeah,
the offense.
I think the '85 Bears, when they destroyed the New England Patriots,
right?
I think they scored a couple defensive touchdowns in that 50 whatever to
Either
7
way,
game.
That was a defensive clinic. I'm like, hey,
it was.
This is how we play defense. If anything, the '85 Bears should be offended by so many people saying, "This is a really great defensive game." No, it really wasn't.
No,
these guys were playing tennis without rackets. Is what they were doing, and it was terrible. Slapping hands.
What's a great song title for a tennis match involving Ray Charles and Helen Keller? Endless Love.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game was
pretty boring. It was boring. It really was. I mean, fortunately for us, I think the setup of the party was good. I mean, there wasn't near as many people as probably I had hoped that would be there. I mean, at this point in stage, I mean, parties aren't as big of a deal for a lot of people.
No.
The bars were actually open on Sunday this year, which I know took a lot of people that would have normally been there.
Yeah.
Which good for them. I certainly would have been open if I were them.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah. Wait, you're going to allow us to be open on Super Bowl Sunday?
Okay.
No thanks.
Pass.
Yeah. I don't like money.
Nah.
But
not in my America.
It was a great setup, and I got a little overzealous, and this wasn't at my house, but I went over and I pressure washed. I bought that screen, which was a 20-foot inflatable screen.
Yeah.
The setup we had.
Well, the screen is something you can actually
great
use
sound
once. I mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to use it here, but
we've got a really big backyard.
Yeah. But Chuck's house was excellent to set. I mean, the house is fantastic, and in summertime with the pool and the lake behind it, I mean, it was really pretty neat. So, I went and got a big pot to cook low country boil for everybody, and it was really good. So it turned out really good. The game just didn't live up to it, and the halftime show sucked.
Yeah, it was.
Nobody needed to see that.
Some of the commercials this year.
Some of them were good.
The NFL 100 one.
Oh, that was great.
That was hands
great.
down one of the best commercials I've seen in a long time. And
yes.
Just the way they coordinated all those stars. That was
so many.
Yeah. And I've seen outtakes where there's actually players that got cut from the commercial because they just
I bet.
The full length one is well over a minute, and the thing is, they just didn't have enough ways to incorporate everybody, and it's just wow,
man,
it's hilarious.
And can you imagine that level of athlete? How much shit talking they were doing to the guys that got cut?
Oh yeah. One of my favorite parts was it Baker Mayfield saying, "Get in there, old man," and he's having to take off all the rings. And, I did like seeing Peyton Manning Still got it. That hurt.
That was a great commercial.
Yeah. So it showed me that some of these commercials can still be really, really good.
Yeah.
Where some of them just...
Well, some of these companies just don't put in any effort into it, and it amazes me because of the amount of money that you have to spend to get a 30-second spot is insane.
So, yeah, you've already spent that much on the airtime. If you're going to make that kind of investment, shouldn't you also make an investment in what it is you're putting out there?
Yeah. Don't run the same commercial you've had since June.
Yeah.
And they do. I mean, there's a lot of rollover commercials. It's like, are you kidding me?
And then I also think maybe some of these companies blew all their money just paying for the air.
Just getting the spot.
Yeah, good news and bad news, guys. Good news is we got the spot. Bad news is we've got $20 left in the budget.
Yeah. Nobody's getting raises this year.
By the way, this Twix bar I just used with the 25. All right. Maybe that could be a Twix commercial.
Yeah. But Super Bowl was Super Bowl. You know? I mean, it was an event, and it always is an event.
Now we're moving toward waiting for baseball.
For baseball.
Pitchers and catchers is, 3 more days or something? I think it's less than a week.
Less than a week. It's close to it. I mean, I like basketball to a degree.
Yeah.
I watch enough NBA throughout the year just so that I'm up to speed when it gets playoff time.
Sure. Well, the
college,
NBA is a long season.
I don't watch college until March.
Well, I
don't think anybody does. I mean, the Duke team's been exciting to watch and follow.
What, Tennessee's number 1 right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're a casual fan, you're like, who?
Tennessee.
But apparently they're great.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see. I mean, you get in a tournament where it's one and done. Yeah, whatever.
I think with basketball, at least for the NBA, for me, it's just a long season. So it's the same way I feel about baseball. I like baseball. It's just I can't watch every game because there's no.
I get excited when baseball gets here, and then I go into a comatose lull through the summer with the rest of the world.
Well, it's all about the All-Star break. They're like, hey, what's going on?
All right.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Who's where?
All right, wake me up.
Trade deadline's always maybe a little bit exciting. I get into golf in the summertime because that's where the majors are.
Sure.
So when I turn my attention to that, that's when football talk starts back up.
Yeah.
Getting gear back up, for next year. It's crazy because football season is actually pretty long if you think about it. But and by the end of the year,
the media coverage of it is very
my
long,
God, yeah. And by the end of the year, I'm actually kind of worn out with football, which is crazy to. I mean, it consumes my weekends during the season, but I'm kind of worn out by the end. A couple months off,
Yeah, because realistically,
come back around
football starts
August
with the draft.
Which
is April
or May now.
Yeah, and then you hear nothing but training camp stuff. Then which
I don't get crazy about it, but it gets you. It kind of nibbles at you and says, "Hey, we're back, motherfucker. Pay attention."
It's like you're dipping your toe in the water, and this little fish is just nibbling.
It's just nibbling.
But yeah, it keeps your interest, and then next thing you know, it's the preseason. Then the regular season, then the playoffs, and then from basically February and March.
It's like, all right, we've been around each other too much.
Mm-hmm. Take a break.
We need to take a break. You're starting to smell a little. I think it's time we see other people, at least for a couple months. You know what? If you love something, let it go.
If it's meant to be,
it'll come back. In September.
Yeah.
What else we got? Let's see. Another one of these New Year's resolutions that seem to go away. Travel to new places.
I can understand that one failing a lot because sometimes travel is expensive.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, you can go someplace you've never been. Like here in Georgia, if you've never been to North Carolina, driving there isn't very expensive, but staying there for any length of time, that can start to add up, and you got to take time off work, all these things.
And nobody goes somewhere to not do anything.
Right.
You go to do specific activities in specific cities, or to see certain monuments, or
you make some travel cheaper, but especially if you do outdoor stuff, because that's usually a lot less expensive than
seeing the Grand Canyon, seeing Mount Rushmore. Speaking of Mount Rushmore, my father this year, my father's company resurfaces tennis courts. So what he and his wife like to do is they like to bid on jobs in certain places of the country
they'd like to visit.
Okay. And that's how they travel. And they've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's worked out great for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone to Alaska. They didn't do a tennis court in Alaska, but
probably not.
But they've done it all up and down the East Coast, Florida, Texas. They've gone out west, Minnesota, a bunch of different places just to see different stuff.
So they take a lot of work vacations.
That's what it is. Yeah. And I mean, it's really just orchestrating and organizing the crews to do the job. So it's a great business model. Dad, if you're listening, I'm excited to get on board at some point. So, but it's a great way for them to travel. And so what he did is he said, well, we want to go see Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
So he searched and found a job to bid on. Well, he bid on it and he got it. And he told me, he said, we're really excited. We're flying into to Fargo, North Dakota, and we're starting some tennis courts up there. And we're going to drive over and see Mount Rushmore.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's great. That's a great trip. He was like, problem is, apparently Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota.
Yeah.
So his drive over was 9 hours. So I had to make fun of him a little bit. I was like, well, you didn't know it was in South Dakota and you booked a job in North Dakota? And he was like, yeah.
I figured Dakota.
Dakota, they're out there somewhere. Wow. They got to be together.
Why do they need two of them?
I mean, hell, North and South Carolina right next to each other. Why the hell they got to be so far apart? So his intentions were good.
Right.
His direction was off.
Geography a little bit.
Yeah. But they did. They did the job over there, and it paid for their vacation, and they went and saw Yellowstone.
Okay.
And the Mount Rushmore.
Wow.
So that's, you're right. When you go to places to see specific, outdoor things, Grand Canyon, that sort of stuff.
I mean, camping can be pretty cheap if you make it cheap.
You can hitchhike.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to meet new people, visit places I've never been before. I'm currently a hostage. Now, so I can understand why a lot of people might fail with the travel part. At the same time, I think you can make it a lot less expensive if depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to Europe.
Yeah.
We're going to Europe this year.
Vegas. Oh.
Good luck with that. You
need several thousands of dollars to have.
Go to Reno. Yeah. How about that? It's kind of like Vegas.
Go to Shreveport
with a lot more old people, and it smells like cabbage.
Go to Mississippi.
Yeah, go to Mississippi. Yeah. Now you can go up to Cherokee up in North Carolina and hang out with the Indians. Let's see. Another one is get out of debt and save money. That doesn't need to be a New Year's resolution. It needs to be a
way of life.
Way of life. Yeah. Making more money tends to help that.
Yeah.
Spend more time with family. That's I don't know that everybody's too crazy about that. I can see why it
would fail a lot.
It would fail a lot.
Well, I tried and no.
Nope. You know what? I'll see you next year
in 2020.
I'll see you in the holidays.
We're just gonna call this one a push.
Here's one, and I know that this one fails not necessarily because people are don't see it through or are lazy, but be less stressed.
Oh, okay.
Who's willingly stressed? Is there anyone that's like, hey, I need a little more stress in my life.
Things are way too easy.
How
can I fuck that up?
Let's complicate things. What do you say, boys?
I gotta tell you, for my money, I'm enjoying this way too much.
You know what though? I don't know. Stress. Maybe the person that won the 1.6 billion.
I think that would be a lot of stress, honestly.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe at some point they get to the point where like, I need some stress in my life. Because 1.6 million takes care of a lot of stress.
It does.
You're right. It probably adds other kinds of stress that we just can't fathom. Because I don't have 1.600.
Taxes? What?
Yeah.
Be less stressed. That I guess that's gonna fall a lot under just a way of life, point of view, perspective. I mean, you can stress out about whatever you want.
Sure.
And the thing is, you generally have control over a lot of the stressors in your life. It's just about accepting what it is you can and cannot control.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I think that's going to fall more under philosophical stuff. You can be as successful as you want to be with that. So, for that to be...
I don't know. It seems weird. Like a pass or fail deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who didn't have fucking stress? Another one was volunteer.
Good people. That always sounds nice, and it's good. It's just I can understand why some people might just not be able to find the time to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think you can always find the time to do it.
Making an honest effort to find the time.
That's probably a better way to look at it.
There's time in a day. There really is.
There's always time in a day. I mean, and it doesn't necessarily have to be volunteer work.
I think it was about, I guess about 20 years ago, it was this time management course that I was taking. And I have taken time management courses, even though I'm late very often.
No.
But essentially, the point of it was, just how to prioritize things. And the one thing that stuck with me is that when somebody says, I don't have time, what they mean to say is it's not important enough.
Yes.
Because, once again, how you prioritize things, that's how you spend your time. If something's a priority for you, there's time.
You'll make time.
You allocate time.
Yeah, you'll make time. So, there's no doubt.
That's why I do my best not to say something to the effect of I just don't have time. Because
it's
really,
inaccurate.
It's more of me saying I need to take care of this first, or this first, or this first. I'd rather say that than say I don't have time, because clearly there's time.
Yeah. One thing I found over the last few years is that for the longest time I always thought, man, I can't get up that early.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Or
might not like it.
If you're like, man, I need to get up. I need to leave by 5. I mean, the thought of getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I could be out the door by 5 and not even be rushed, but so I could be on the road at 5. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that shit. Are you crazy? But it's not that big of a deal. It's just not.
Especially when you start to get into a habit of doing it.
Yeah. I mean, for years I looked at that as there's no way I'm doing that. There was a solid 5 years that I don't know that I got up before 11 a.m.
5 a.m.?
Well,
that
I'm on the back end.
I think that sounds like a made up time. I don't think it exists. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me that the Mount Rushmore's in South Dakota. So.
Yeah. And that's your mind getting in the way of what you're actually capable of doing.
Yeah, well, when I do the seasonal work, sometimes I gotta be up at 7.
Yeah.
Or around 7. That way I can be, because I either need to be at work at sometimes at 8, sometimes at 10. But if I'm up at 7 every day, then the days I have to be there at 8, I make it with plenty of time. The days I have to be there at 10, I make it there with even more time. But that's not how I would normally operate the rest of the year. The rest of the year is I just go to bed when I'm tired and I just wake up when I wake up. So
yeah. You need some resolutions.
No, I need some more stress. That's what I need.
You need stress.
I need stress.
We all actually need stress. I actually operate better under stress.
Oh, it helps focus things.
That's why I got married. No, I'm kidding. I love you, honey. She knows it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
what you got? Anything else?
I got no, nothing pressing.
All right. Well,
here we are at the top of the hour.
Top of the hour. Live. This thing playing? Doesn't look like it's playing.
You suck. I hear it warming up.
Yeah, it's trying to warm up. What's going on here, sailor?
No, I guess.
You son of a mother's goat. I don't know. I'm trying to get some. There we go. All right.
It's a little jazzy.
It is. Thanks to the Big Mighty. This is an old CD I found, so we don't have to worry about getting kicked off of YouTube.
Not yet.
Unless they're listening. No, this is a group of old friends. So I want to thank them for the music if they are listening.
Nice.
We want to thank you guys for joining us again on another version of the Alleged Reality. We'll see you next time. And once again, reach out to us with any questions, comments, suggestions. We're open.
Yeah, any kind of feedback is appreciated.
That's right. We look forward to the next time. Check us out at the Alleged Reality Podcast on YouTube. That's probably where you're going to be listening to this from. Make sure you subscribe if you have not and be notified when we upload new shows. Also check us out on our Facebook page, The Alleged Reality, as well. Try and share our shows if you join us there. Comment on things and let us know what's going on. For John, I am Jason. Thanks for joining us.
You can see